Now I had a comment the other day on asking for a little bit more detail on some of the things, some of the modifications that I've made. One being this cross brace on the handlebars. This thing here. Now that's just an eBay special. And the main reason I mounted that was to give me an additional camera mount on the front of the bike. It's not Triumph specific, it's a bit of a mix and match. We've got the cross brace, which is black, which is probably with a pair of black handlebars. The clamps are silver, they were probably with a silver one, silver cross brace that is, which I've still got, and I'm toying with the idea of fixing that because that's actually narrower and would still allow me to mount it down there and mount a camera on it, forward facing or rear facing. Now what you've got to be careful of on these is they're what they call fat handlebars, so they're a larger diameter here. Can't remember the exact diameter, but they're a larger diameter where they clamp to what they are up here. So these clamps work for the narrower ones, but once you get, you can see actually if you look closely, once you get to about there, they start getting a bit fatter. So you're going to need bigger clamps if I'm going to mount something down there, or machine those clamps. But that's that, not Triumph specific. Something, a means of me being able to mount a camera either facing that way or facing forwards or sideways or any which way I like. But it just gives me an additional ability to mount my second camera somewhere on the bike. Now the other question was, and I've just changed the heads on these, the mirrors, which I made myself. I fabbed these mirrors up myself. I'm going to pop one off in a minute, but there we go. They are both attached to either the front brake lever clamp or the clutch lever clamp on the other side. That bit is a piece of old handlebar stem, not handlebar stem, handlebar mirror stem, and then the head is a bar end mirror. This is all bits and pieces, nicks and knacks that I had in the garage, things I've nicked and things I've knackered. Now early on, before I owned this Scrambler, I did similar with the CCM. Slightly different though. That mirror is just clamped to the bars using, and I can't find, oh here we are, I've got one here, using an industrial cable clamp, plastic industrial cable clamp. Now it's a different style of mirror. Here's the other one. It had a threaded hole in the end of it, so I just wound a bit of stud into it and a lock nut that passes up through the bracket. Actually that piece of stud isn't long enough, but like that, longer piece of stud than that, so it passed up through there and then clamps onto the bar. I've got space on this bike to do that, so the clamp is there, just fits in there. Works equally as well, but the mirror has a slightly different fitting, so that was the way I went with that. Now on this one, bar end mirrors, just your standard kind of bar end mirrors. That's the kind of clamp that was on them, goes on the end of the bar like that, and then these are the ones that were on here before. You get the mirror, which has got that little thing sticking out the back with a internally threaded hole, just bolts through there onto there. That is your bar end mirror. All I've done is lose that bit, get an old standard common garden everyday sort of a mirror like that. I better not put it there, it's going to slide off like that. They're actually the original Scrambler mirrors, and then I cut a section out. I actually used one of the bends that I already had, so I cut a section out, sort of chopped it there and there, put it in the vise, did a little bit more bending and manipulating just to get the position of them somewhere near right, and then drilled and counterbored the bracket in order that I could fit the mirror to it. So I'll whip one off. I'll show you a bit more up close. How I actually mounted it, or what drilling I did in order to mount it. So that's the bottom bolt on the brake lever clamp side. Now what I've done there is drilled a hole, made that little bar, drilled a hole through there and counterbored it on the back so that sits in nice and flush, and then the top end I actually machined the ends flat. I don't know whether you can see that, so that you're not clamping against the round of the bar, so it won't flex like that. Now you can do that with a file, a grinder. I mean, I'm lucky. I have the facility to use milling machines, lathes, grinders, surface grinders, that sort of thing with my work. But you don't need to have that. You can actually, you could do that. I'd drill the hole first, maybe counterbore it, and then just file it flat, and that will stop it rocking around. And that was made, okay, that's slightly thinner, the one there, slightly thinner than the Scrambler originals, but that was actually made using a piece of old standard mirror, and they work quite well. Now I've swapped the heads over for these ones, as opposed to the round ones, just because they're slightly wider. I might get a slightly better rear view with them. The old round ones that I did have on there, as you can see, I can't really do it. If I put that roughly in the middle, I've gained a little bit of extra width of mirror. I don't know whether that'll work, I don't know whether they'll be any good, but it's pretty quick to change them back should I need to. And of course the other advantage of having mirrors that stand off a bit, that have this thing on the back, is it keeps them just far enough back from my horn switch on the other side and my hazard light switch on this side, so I can still get a thumb on them. So it doesn't interfere with the switches. They're low from the back. They're out of the way, nice and low. And from the front, they're barely visible. I know Harley Davidsons used to have, maybe they still do, used to have very similar types of mirrors. But there were two issues there. The first one being anything that comes in a Harley Davidson package costs 3 times as much as the equivalent that doesn't come in a Harley Davidson package, and on the whole they're chrome. And if anything, I'm trying to cut down on the silver and chrome on this bike, so I really did want them to be black. While I'm here, I did this one the other day. That bracket there, this exhaust system was actually designed and originally intended for a Triumph Street Twin to scramblerize it, and therefore Street Twins don't have these two little brackets down here, these two exhaust brackets for the original exhaust. So the bracket that came with this came up and bolted to the top of the shock. I made that the other day as just a bent piece of stainless steel, bolted to the exhaust on the underside where the original was bolted, and then I've gone through one of the original Street Scrambler brackets on there. The other one I'm going to use as a camera bracket. In fact, what I might end up doing is I might use one of these handlebar braces and bolt it onto that, have the camera just underneath the exhaust possibly. I haven't really fully decided, but I'm sure I can fabricate some kind of a bracket to mount a rear facing camera, or again it could be side facing, front facing. So I'm sorry I didn't cut anything up, but I really don't want to cut up my factory Street Scrambler mirrors, and that's the only spare set I've got. So all you need is some cheap eBay bar end mirrors, the sort that have that kind of bracket, which you're not going to use, and have a little threaded standoff tube on the back of the mirror. Along with an old set of normal mirrors, a hacksaw, a vise and a big hammer, and a drill and a few drill bits. If you've got all of that, you can actually make a set of those for very, very little money. I mean, like I say, this stuff was all kicking around in my garage anyway, but I can't believe a pair of those mirrors are going to be any more than £5 or £10 off eBay, because they don't have any name on them. Stick them in a Triumph packet or a Harley packet and you can probably double or triple that. Today's little tutorial, and I didn't wield a single spanner. Oh, I did wield an Allen key though. Right, like, subscribe, thumbs up. We're going for it now. I want you guys to keep me going. My subscribers are gently climbing. Quite a few people seem to be watching my videos. God knows why. But I'll keep it up. Anything else you want me to explain how I did, drop a comment and I'll make a little short video, much the same as this one, and let you know how I did it. Okay, take care. See you soon.